right, so I want to take a couple minutes and spend a little more time diving somewhat in depth into the body points chart. So I said it in the introduction, we couldn't quite get a large enough font for it to work as a wall chart if it was all down into one chart, 18 by or 24 by 36 inches. And so we broke it up into two, and there are, I'm going to cover this part first. We have this upper section here, which is a list of all of the body points that are found in the TBM 40th Anniversary Edition manuals. This first column here, this color-coded column, tells you where on the mannequin chart you're going to find that specific point. So for instance, the exteroceptive system that we have here is listed as A34. So up here we have the anterior mannequin, we have the head of the mannequin, and then we have the lateral view of the mannequin. So exteroceptive system, A34, A would be for anterior, and then on the mannequin they're all numbered from top to bottom. So 34, if we start way up there, we've got 1. If I come down, we have 34 right here. And the color is kind of a teal color. And we look up here and we see a teal ring. In fact, all of the systems points, if you come in and take a look here, the teal ring tells you that it's back of fingers, which is how we test the systems point. So exteroceptive system is the back of the fingers, and it is over the sternal angle, or what we call the maneuver-cervical junction, or the self point in TBM. So back of fingers right over the self point. And then the correction is listed right here, L3C1. So for each of these points, that's how it is referenced. If I come down here and I look at hearing at L16. So hearing, we have in light blue, we have right and left. So that tells me that you tested on the right and you tested on the left. Now up here on the mannequin, we're only going to show you on one side. So except maybe hearing, we might get both. Let's see. So looking at hearing again, it is L16. So I come to the lateral mannequin, starting from the top, coming down to L. We go to 16, which is right in the external auditory meatus. That is the test point for hearing. Of course, it's only shown on the left because we're looking at the left side on this lateral view. But this reminds us here that we have a right and a left in the blue. The correction, tap 20 seconds each, A108, and it's kind of a light colored salmon red with dots around it. The light color with the dots means it's on the flip side of what you're looking at. So if we come up to A108, so that would be anterior, and I come down here, that happens to be the hand. A108 is shown right here in the hand, but because it is light colored with little dashes around it, that means it's on the back side. So opposite of what you see here, it's on the back side of the hand. So the first thing you do is stimulate there for 20 seconds. Okay? The next thing on hearing is then we stimulate for 20 seconds, L20. So that again is the lateral view. We come down to 20, and it is the tip of the mastoid, which is where we stimulate for 20 seconds. And then L15, and then we have in light blue, again, special instructions, mouth open. So we come to L15, mouth open. L15 is right there, right behind the, right in front of the tragus, on the most posterior superior access, point on the ramus of the mandible, mouth open, and then we rub there for 20 seconds. So obviously, to put complex instructions like that, all these different parts, we had to use shorthand. And so the shorthand is explained. There's the legend here, which tells you, a blue line is a knife edge, a curved green line is a curved knife edge. If we have green open circles that are connected, those are simultaneous placements of fingers, maybe 4 in a row, and such. We have a bent knife edge, which is a green right angle. We have a semi-closed hand. That's showing us the source test, which is number 1 on the anterior, placement of the hand up here. Multiple fingers are when it's open, dots. That means there are several fingers. So for instance, for genetic malleability, the 3 fingers at the level of the 5th rib heads. All right. So the multiple fingers, those are little orange rings here. If it's just multiple fingers, like I said, they're green and connected. If the fingers are connected but apart. And we have a twist, a little spiral here that lets you know if there's a twist. The purple dashes with an arrow, that's a fingertip glance, like a gliding motion with the fingertips. Fingertip knife edge, it's like the fingertips like this, for instance, with urethra. The purple rectangle is palm of the hand, like the hand on the forehead for basic emotion. And then for just single finger contacts, those are just little red dots, and they're all going to have numbers in the center. The others are going to tend to have numbers with a little black line connecting to them. And here we have a double-headed finger twist, clockwise and anti-clockwise, 2 different tests. The star is for tapping, like for arrhythmia, and the tests we do for cardiac rhythm or cardiac brain. Like I said before, if they're faded and have dashes around it, that means it's on the opposite side. And I'm just realizing one of the people that's here, that's kind of being the audience for me to talk to, not feel so alone doing this, is the one that I work together with and who conceptualize a lot of the things here. And that's Chris Palashevsky. And then also just these dotted lines, like we have the mid-clavicular line here, we have the sagittal line here, we have the mid-orbital line up there, so those teal lines. The ovals are back at the fingers, and then the gold arrows are directional. For instance, pressing up under the costal margin to test for the diaphragm. So coming back down now to this section it was covering before, this is alphabetical from start to finish. So from abducens, one of the cranial nerves, all the way down to the yucky point. And like I said before, these columns match the colors. They take you to which chart. Now, this section up here is organized into 9 different sections. So if I'm menuing with someone and I'm on the menu chart here, the menu dynamics, and it goes to menu charts, come down here to menu chart, it goes to body points, I pop over to body points, then I'm going to ask, is it the upper section or is it the lower section? Now down here at the lower section, the C is for combinations, and that's where you're combining more than one of the points that are listed on this chart up above. So if you if you're asking and you get a yes that it's the upper section, then I recommend asking, is it the first column? No. Is it the second column? Yes. And if it's the second column, is it the top? No. Is it the middle? Yes. So now we've gotten down to this chunk, and then I ask, start from the top? No. Start from the bottom? Yes. So now we've just cut it in half further. I start for the bottom, and then I just ask, menopause, andropause, meningeal system, manufacture. So then I know manufacture is the technique that I need to run. And so literally within a matter of seconds, I've went from what do I do next from this client to knowing I run manufacture. I haven't touched a manual. And not only do I know that I need to run manufacture, it tells me here to jump down to the combination chart. And the combination chart will tell me right up here what I need to do. In fact, that reminds me, I spoke erroneously before in saying you can ask top or bottom. You can still do that, but up here in this section, if it is gray and has the prefix to the number is a C, so for instance, we have C25, then you would come down to the combination chart to C25, which is sphincter of Oddi, and which has a red H on it, and the red H means you have to hold the points during the test and the correction. So sphincter of Oddi with the red H, and it tells you to connect A50 plus A71. So A50, if we come down, A50 is right here on the 6 rib inner space, just off of the rib heads on the left, 3 fingers, which happens to be head of pancreas, and then you connect A71, which is a red or a golden arrow right in the center, which is here. You connect those 2 points and hold it throughout the test and correction. And the correction that you do for sphincter of Oddi, if we come back up here, is T7. So all the instructions we need are right here and available to us to quickly get to, and a huge time saver. Let's see if there's anything else I want to mention. There is a legend down here. I'm not going to go through the details, or they're kind of straightforward. It just tells you if you have an MMW, that means weak muscle, etc. So you've got the legend on the body point listing. You have the legend for the body point mannequin. It's broken up into the different sections. Now I do want to cover one other thing. People have asked me, well, why didn't you organize this like it's organized here? So instead of doing this alphabetical, why didn't you organize it so it's all of these points top to bottom, and then these, and so forth? And as a general rule, if you want to find a correction, you know the name of the correction, but you don't know where to test it. It's kind of rare that you know, I want to test whatever is right here, I just don't know what that is. That's generally not where we start. The question is, I want to test the liver, so where is the liver? So instead of organizing this the way this is organized, anatomically, we've organized it alphabetically so you can quickly find the correction, which then will send you up here and let you know where you can test that function. And yeah, that's all I have to say on body points.